Game's alright.
And that's it, guys. Thank you. I hope you, Evil Olympian fans, enjoyed that riveting review.
Hope you expound more so I don't have to just talk about it for 5 minutes.
No. If he doesn't have an opinion, we move on, Hunter. That's the rules. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Now, before you get up at us and go, why are the Christmas decorations still up? Why are you still here? Well, let me tell you, we are from the past. You are in the future. We are here. It is the middle of December as of recording this, because we're doing something special this week for this episode of the HGO podcast. We are recommending each other games to play from the PlayStation Plus library, and then we're going to go away for a month, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to judge our friends' recommendations. That's going to be fun. That's what we're doing. So there will be a jump at some point in this podcast where it will no longer be Christmas. It'll be cancelled, and Hunter will look the exact same, and I'll put money on it.
It would be really funny if it would be funny if I had a brand new jacket.
Oh, I've got a really funny idea in the edit. I'll probably forget to do this, but as we're changing, I should zoom into your webcam and then change the clip and then zoom out, and everything else will change for you. And it'll be really funny.
Really good.
I should do that now. I should make a note. That's a good one. Write a note at the timestamps, actually. That's really good.
I was thinking for like the intro bit, you could do like a spot the difference between past and future
These
Hunter.
are the same picture, dude. It's the office.
It may possibly just be the T-shirt.
Maybe. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Like I say, we're each picking 2 games for each other from the PSN library, the HGO library, the PSN library. We've just done the fantasy draft, if you're wondering what the canon is. So I've got so many acronyms stuck in my head right now. Yeah, we are going to basically pick 2 games from the library. We're going to do a random wheel spin to see who gets who, and then we're going to report back on what we thought about these games. You're not going to have to beat them. You're just going to have to play a couple of hours, and then we'll come back and give us some impressions. It beats doing a backlog episode, so this is what we're doing instead. But if you're new here, might as well do the spiel so I don't have to do it in the future. Welcome to the HGO podcast. We're here every Monday at around 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern on podcast services everywhere, and at youtube.com/hotgamesonly, where you can look at our stupid faces each and every week. I'm not going to do housekeeping. If there's anything to add, do it later, future Ethan, because I don't know what's happening in January. I'm not there yet, so no point.
I can't believe that acquisition happened.
No, please don't speak that into existence, Hunter.
That's crazy, dude. I can't believe that our fantasy draft is already irrelevant. That only came out last week. That's crazy. Yeah. There's
You hear about?
Wait, it'll be 2 weeks. Shit, I'm messing with the canon. It's not even the right time. Oh well.
Oh, you broke kayfabe.
Yeah, we'll live.
Honestly, I've lost track of the canon at this point.
Was episode 200 good? I won't know. Wasn't there yet.
I hope.
But yeah, let's just dive straight into it. So, thanks to the power of searching wheel spin on the internet, we have got a big wheel. Ooh, big wheel. And it's got a gold side that's Kyle, a red side that's Hunter, and a blue side that's me. I didn't pick the colours. It just gave Hunter red, because of course it did.
It knows.
It's my world.
What we're gonna do,
you guys just live here.
We're going to do 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin it once. Whoever it lands on is the person who's going to give the game recommendations. We'll spin it again, and it'll be that person that gets them. If it lands on yourself again, then we're fucked, and we're going to fix it in the edit. It's fine. We'll work with it. It's good. So let's begin with the first wheel spin. The first person giving their recommendation is Kyle. So
of course
Kyle,
it is.
Get your games ready, buddy. Hey, at least this time it's on the screen, so you can't say that I rigged it. So that's good. So Kyle is giving his recommendations too. I wish you could actually make this quicker, because my gosh, is this a slow wheel. Me. Kyle gets me.
Oh, baby.
Right, so if Kyle gets me... Oh, okay. Does that mean I have to get Hunter and Hunter gets you? Is that how that works now?
I feel like that's how we should do it, because
Yeah.
we don't want to give someone like 4 games to do and have someone not doing anything, right?
I was never planning that. Right. So Kyle gets me, I get Hunter, and Hunter gets Kyle, which I'm not gonna lie, that makes me sad. I was I wanted to mess with Kyle. Oh well. Kyle.
I mean, I can give my picks to Hunter if you want.
No, it's fine. It's
We'll
fine.
tell the alternate picks later if we want.
Yeah, we can tell the ultimate picks. That's fine.
Alrighty. So, the first game I have for you, Ethan. I don't know if you would have played one of these already, so they're kind of like a double feature.
Oh, no.
You can just pick whichever one you feel like.
Yeah.
Either Ico or Shadow of the Colossus. I don't know if you've played either of those.
I haven't.
No,
I'll
not a
say Shadow of
chance.
the Colossus because I have it. Well, I'll tell you this. In the similar vein of where Hunter was like, I played a game for like 2 seconds and then put it down.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever. Shadow of the Colossus, I gave it a good 2 minutes and I was like,
oh,
bye bye. So I didn't give it a fair shake, but that's fair. I'll give it another
Do you have
shake.
the new version?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
remaster, not the PS2.
Okay.
I'm not playing the PS2
All right.
one. I'm
Yeah.
the remake.
Yeah.
We're playing whatever's available on the extra.
Yeah, right. At least
Yeah, I
that
can play
the
that.
new version has X as jump, which it was not on the
good.
as far as
That's
the
you're selling me
PS3
on it now,
version.
Hunter. You're selling it on me.
Well, I just know
Do that, they fixed the controls.
You'd be very upset if it was asking you to press triangle to jump, like if you had tried to give him the Last Guardian.
I can guarantee a third of the second half of this podcast would be me bitching about the triangle button jump if it was that case, Hunter. Because
Oh yeah,
I'm very nitpicky.
I'm sure you'll have plenty more to complain about
But now,
with this game.
I'm willing to give it a try because it's one that's fan favorite, beloved game, and I haven't given it a fair shake. So yeah, I'm fair enough. I'm happy to do that. We'll see how I feel in a month. What's the other one?
All right, and so the other one is Dark Cloud.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Dude, the other day when I was looking at this, I was thinking about making either of you do that.
So Ethan, Dark Cloud, if you don't know, it's like a half dungeon crawler, half city builder.
Okay.
It's a PS2 somewhat RPG.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're not like the biggest old RPG guy, but
that is the correct assumption to make. Yeah.
You like the world building stuff of Persona, the not dungeon part of Persona. So I'm like, maybe this could be something up your wheelhouse.
We'll see.
Or maybe you'll report back in a month and tell me I'm stupid.
Yeah, from my initial impressions, I'm like, if I'm going to spend time with one for more than the say if I was the idea behind this is to spend a couple of hours with each of them, maybe dive into one more if you're really enjoying it. Is the idea we're doing here. I'm like, on initial guess, I'd probably say if I was going in just based off of blind expectations, I'd probably put more into Shadow of the Colossus. But we'll see. Maybe Dark Cloud will be better, and I'll just go, fuck this stupid horse game off. I don't want to climb big people.
Dark Cloud, once you get into the rhythm of it, is really satisfying.
Fair enough.
I've quite enjoyed playing it. I replay it like every couple of years for some reason. Like it's one of those ones where the urge to play it sneaks up on me. I'll be like,
I think Sam likes this game a lot too.
Really?
Sam likes this game?
I think so.
There is fishing in it, so
Yeah,
there is fishing in it.
There you go.
Fishing with like unreasonable rewards too. So yeah.
There you go then.
All right.
It's just that easy, apparently.
And there's your homework, Ethan.
Thanks. I'll try it. We'll see. Next up, I guess we'll do it. We'll do the triangle then. We're going through the triangle. I guess I'll go for Hunter. Hunter's the hardest fucker to do this for because Hunter has had
yeah, I do not envy you right now.
So Hunter, I've got 4 here for you, but just in case. The first one's quite new. So I'm hoping that you haven't even touched it. So let's go with this, because it's recently added. I think I said in a podcast earlier, a month ago, that I might have tried it and didn't really gel with it. But I think you might. So we'll go with it. Have you played Superliminal?
I have not.
Well, you will do soon.
Very cool. Well,
it's a puzzle game all about perspectives where you pick up items and objects in the world, and basically, if you make it look bigger in your camera view and then drop it, it becomes that big in the actual world. So it's all about picking. It's like a puzzle, like Portal kind of thing, where it's like messing with your expectations, your perceptions of reality, and all that jazz. So
sounds cool.
There you go. That's that one for you. The next one is kind of mean.
Hmm.
It's not mean, but I would right. If you were here 2 weeks ago, you'll have seen that Hunter has now got a massive affinity for Ubisoft. He's a big fan of Ubisoft.
Oh
You know, he's like,
no.
you know, I love Ubisoft. It's great.
Oh,
I'm not
jeez.
going to force you to play an Assassin's Creed game. What I would like to get your opinions on is a little game that they made that has now got a cancelled sequel that's never coming out called Immortals Phoenix Rising. Their Zelda.
I would have rather you made me play the pirate Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, did you
But
not play
okay.
Assassin's Creed 4?
No, I stopped after Ezio.
Oh, fuck that off then. Play Assassin's Creed 4. Yeah, do that.
Will
Fuck that
do.
off. Yeah, play Assassin's Creed 4
Okay.
Black Flag. That's much better. Yeah, do that.
I'll do that one. Sure.
Yeah.
That's always been the one that people tell me, it's a shame that you stopped when you did, because this one was actually good.
Oh, thank
No,
God for
Immortals
that.
Phoenix Rising sounded funny.
Because I don't even like Immortals myself either, so I was going to make you suffer. Yeah, play Assassin's Creed 4, because that's great. Assassin's Creed 4 is like the best Assassin's Creed game, in my opinion. It's brilliant. It's about you're going to play a character called Edward Kenway, who is a pirate who somehow stumbles across the assassins and spends 80% of the game going, yeah, fuck you, I can't be arsed. And it's great. I'll nick your outfit and walk away from you. Yeah, that's great. He's good. He's brilliant.
The true pirate spirit. Take what looks cool and then bounce.
Literally, the first quest, the first mission in the game is I think you loot the costume off of a dead assassin because you're like, that looks cool. Gimme.
Oh, that's incredible. All right.
But yeah, you'll have fun with that one. So yeah, those are my two for you then: Superliminal and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
To be fair, finding games I haven't played, Ubisoft is a good place to look.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, it's kind of like Breath of the Wild, but now that I'm like, yeah, you know what, Assassin's Creed 4 is better because there are good Ubisoft games still out there. I think Immortals is fine, but you're just gonna sit there thinking this isn't Zelda the entire time. So yeah, it's also Assassin's Creed 4 shorter game.
Yeah.
Immortals never fucking ends. So yeah, that's that, I guess. And then Hunter.
All right, Kyle. For you, my two picks. So I didn't really do the kind of pick one in your comfort zone and pick the other. It's more so. I'm just gonna send it. The Evil Within is number one.
Ooh.
That's the Shinji Mikami horror game that he made when the first Tango Gameworks game.
All right.
I figure since you've been enjoying your time with the Resident Evil series, you might like this one.
I'll give it a shout.
A lot of the same ideas.
I don't think I really know anything about this game, so yeah. I'll be going in blind.
Now I'm happy. I'm happier with this outcome. I'm happier with this outcome. If you'd given me that, I would have told him to fuck off and then walk away.
I wasn't gonna give you the Evil Within.
I don't know of you. You might be like.
There are other horror games to ease you. Well, actually, you know, it stops being scary halfway through. But there are other horror games to ease you into after Resi 4 that aren't the Evil Within.
True.
And the second one, there's a off chance that you might have played this, but I'm gonna guess maybe not. I Am Setsuna.
You played it?
No, that Hunter, no shit.
You're gonna make me play that.
I had that on my list for you.
That's been on my list of things I want to get to eventually.
That's been on my list of things I want to get to eventually too.
Oh, isn't that fucking swell? Jeez.
Hey, Ethan, want to join us? We can do a book club.
No.
It's only like 20 hours.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Double no.
That's at least according to how long to beat.
Damn, bro.
It's like, I think the general sell is, this is an RPG that's really depressing. And I was like, sign me up.
Yeah.
And I just haven't pulled the trigger on it ever yet.
The furthest I got is I actually did already download this game.
Nice. You knew it was coming.
But I did not get a chance to play it yet. So thank you, Hunter.
No problem.
I'm glad to have an excuse to finally play this video game.
Cool. So there you go. So if you want to recap, I'm going to be trying out Shadow of the Colossus and Dark Cloud. Hunter is going to be trying out Superliminal and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And Kyle is going to be checking out The Evil Within and I Am Setsuna. So we're going to come back in a month and give you our impressions.
Before we go, I would like
games.
to know what our other things were.
I was getting to that.
Okay.
Hunter, what did you have for me?
I knew you had gotten as far as downloading 13 Sentinels, so I figured if you hadn't started playing it yet, I was gonna make you.
It's on my hard drive, so that would have been
Yeah,
an easy
exactly.
thing to
And then
do.
my other one is potentially you might have already played this, but I can't recall you ever saying anything about it. Untitled Goose Game.
No, I haven't played that.
Oh yeah,
Damn, they sound fun.
yeah.
Damn, maybe Hunter was right. Maybe we should have just taken Hunter's word for everything. I mean, I'm also let's be real here. Shadow of the Colossus is like a big backlog game that I've just put off forever.
Mm.
But also I don't get to honk as a goose in that one, so now I'm like
It's true.
50-50. It's fine.
You got a horse though.
True.
Horses are cool in their own right.
Yeah, that's true. You got a point. Kyle, what were yours for Hunter?
So I already said I was gonna give him I am Setsuna, and I also had Wild Arms down for him. It's
Oh,
an
the old
old
like PS1
PS1
RPG.
RPG, yeah.
Yeah, I'd never played that.
That's one that I've been meaning to get to. It always looked interesting, but I've just haven't had the time for it.
Yeah.
I was gonna have you be
No,
my guinea pig.
that's fair. That's fair. Being a
I'm
guinea
sure
pig's
that would
always a
work
good
out for you very well.
thing to do.
Usually, I have a higher tolerance for stuff.
Just a slight height tolerance. And mine, I had 3. One was more of a meme pick, to be honest. I was gonna threaten you with this, and then I was gonna go JK. I'm just kidding. The one I was gonna threaten you with was GTA 5, just for fun. I was just like, yeah, download a 120 gig game and have fun, dude. No,
All right.
not really. I was gonna make you. You're gonna be sad now, Cal, because I was gonna let you live a dream right here, dude. I was gonna make you download Final Fantasy Origins and play Strangers of Paradise because that's just been added to the collection. I was gonna make you play that.
Oh,
See if the power of friendship was the true destroyer of chaos, dude. I wanted to know.
So I have a story about Final Fantasy Origins.
I mean, if you
you
want to tell
played
it
it
go for it.
already?
You played it?
By the time this video, or at least this half of the video goes up, this was a game I asked for Christmas.
Oh, damn.
And no shit, like 2 weeks later, they announced it was going on PlayStation Plus. And I'm like, yeah, go figure, dude.
Sounds about right. But that was one I was going to make you play. And then the other one was a series that I was going to let you pick any one of them from, which Hunter can probably guess if I've said that. I was going to let you pick one of the Life is Strange's and say, take whichever one you think's the most interesting and play the first episode of it, because I'd like to see what
Unless you
Cal's
were drawn
reaction.
to 2.
Yeah, I was like, don't pick 2, but pick one or True Colors, or if you feel like being a fucking Satanist and going and playing the prequel before playing the original, you go and do that. Yeah, But I was like, you take it, because I'd just like to hear Cal's reaction to a game that isn't really a game that much. Yeah. Just live in a vibe for a bit. But those are my 2, which is funny with the Origins thing. So that's what. There you go. Those were the what ifs.
All right then.
What were the other 3 you wrote down for me?
Yeah.
Curiosity, because you needed
for you
extras.
Well, you know what some of them were. The other 2, one was Gravity Rush 2, because you said that you hadn't played the second one. And the other one was Judgment, the Yakuza spin-off that was about to be kicked off.
I wouldn't have been upset about that.
Yeah. I also wouldn't. I was tempted to give you that one instead of Immortals, but I was like, no, because I haven't played Judgment yet. I don't want other people to have fun before me. Get your own lane, bud. But there you go. Those are the what ifs. But like I said, I'll be playing Shadow of the Colossus and Dark Cloud. Hunter will be playing Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, and Superliminal. And Cal will be playing I Am Setsuna and The Evil Within. And we will see you it'll be a second for you, but it'll be a month for us. What could possibly go wrong? Look at Hunter's outfit. Wow, and we're back by magic. Whoa! Hunter, you ruined the bit, if I remember correctly. It's been like 5 weeks. We were going to zoom into you. I definitely wasn't
pointed this way.
Yeah, you've ruined the bit.
Man did a full 180 on us.
Ignore the fact that I've had a haircut and stuff like that, but I'm wearing the same hoodie. I did try, technically.
My face is healed. I was definitely still like my lip was busted and shot in the forehead.
Your bullet wound is gone.
See, I'm damaged because my lips are all like cracked and stuff because I've been ill and it's really cold at the moment. So it's like just all trading blows, but it's fine. It's nice to talk to you guys again. I love that we haven't talked at all in the past 6 weeks or whatever it's been. I'm kidding.
No,
I
But it
know,
does.
dude. Merry
not
Christmas.
friends outside of the podcast. Not
We're
us.
work exclusive friends.
I do feel like it is weird though, because we haven't done one of these in a while. Obviously, we've been talking outside of the podcast, but we haven't done one of these in a while, so it does feel weird to be back at it. I'm kind of glad we're doing half an episode in this format. To be honest, it gives us time to warm up again, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're
so
back.
That we can give you all the real quality next week.
Yeah, baby. I hope you're looking forward to another Code impressions, Prince of Persia impressions, and whatever you're playing, Kyle, because that's going to be fun.
One day he'll
Under Night
remember.
Rebirth, Sistine Chapel 2, whatever it is. Anyway.
Yeah, dude, you nailed
Reunion.
it.
Hey, got it. So yeah. Let's talk about some games. We've all played some video games while we've been on break. Some that we were told to play, some we weren't, but it's fine. We'll talk about the ones we were supposed to play. So
some of us deleted the games we were told to play.
I did. Do I tell that story? I forgot we were doing this. So 2 weeks before this episode, I just deleted everything off my hard drive, being like, why the hell did I install Dark Cloud? And I just like instantly realized, I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be playing these. I better reinstall that. What can I say? Whenever I see video games on my console that I'm not playing, I just get like a delete goblin, dude. Just delete that stuff. I need that space for the 50 million discs that Rebirth's going to be on in February, dude. Delete that off my hard drive. But I did.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Dark Cloud was really eating up your storage space.
I had a personal vendetta against it, but we'll get to it later. So we've played 6 games over the break, all from the PS Extra Catalogue. I don't know why I'm catching you up. I think I'm just catching us up, really, because you'll literally be in a second.
We do need the reminder, probably.
I definitely do. I had to look it up. I watched the previous 20 minutes that we did just to make sure that we did a good enough job. I don't think we did, but we're gonna roll with it anyway.
I played the wrong games, dude.
Oopsie. So yeah, timestamps below if you want to go to each on a game-by-game basis. We're starting with the 3 games we put the least amount of time into, and then we'll move over to the games that we spent the most time with. And I will say, if you like these games and we don't like them, then I'm sorry. Please don't hate us. If you hate these games and we love them, screw you. The games are good. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're just going to do. So let's start off with Dark Cloud. I put about 2.5 hours into Dark Cloud. I feel like that is realistic. Yeah. I wrote notes. They're very detailed notes. Shall I get my notes out? Where are my notes?
I bet they are, dude.
Ooh, boy.
Dude, I wrote a lot.
He wrote them in his Bible.
Well, you know, the first thing that I wrote in my Bible, which has got review notes for different games in it, that it was mainly just my Zelda impressions for the spoiler cast, and I forgot how to write since then. Dark Cloud thoughts. Note number 1, this is how you know it's going to be an extensive review. Love the Fortnite dancing was the first thing that I wrote.
You mean the ritual dance
Yeah,
at the beginning?
yeah, dude, they were dancing and they were having a great time, to be honest. And then I made a second comment, which was I could only notice one of them was like there was one woman dancing, and why does she look like every JRPG character from a PS2 video game? Like that's what she looks the exact same as every other character. I was like, fair play. I know which era we're in. What I wrote, big belly, big tongue. What does that mean?
The design of the genie.
The genie, that must be the genie.
Yeah,
I paid
because he was a big chungus and he had a
big.
big mouth. He ate a guy when he showed up.
Thank God one of us can speak, Ethan.
It's more like I'm just recalling what happens in the game because I've luckily played
Big
this
tongue,
game.
big belly.
Yeah, dude, that's I can't read.
Big tungus.
Big tungus.
Yeah.
This is a look into how Ethan writes his reviews.
Yeah, I wrote that the main character has a dumb hat. I liked his design, but his hat's stupid. That's what I wrote.
It's weird because it looks like it looks almost like a turban.
Yeah, it does. It's very weird design. Then I wrote...
But he's definitely like a pseudo-European kid, so like...
Yeah, definitely.
Why is he wearing a turban?
Then I wrote, okay, enough of the Fortnite dancing, because this was
because the festival.
Yeah, because of the festival. This was a very long cutscene. Kyle, you were very bold to put a 15-minute cutscene in front of me with no.
He doesn't know what the game had.
I've never played this
Oh,
game.
you've never played it? Oh, perfect. Then I'm
No.
describing it perfectly to you.
Yeah, dude.
It
I
also
love
has no
big
voice
tongue, big
acting, which
belly.
for somebody who struggles to keep track of things made it very interesting indeed. This is what I wrote, okay? Fat kid funny, haha, good one, 2000s video game, because they just make fun of a fat kid. Which I feel like is what happens in every RPG in the 2000s. Happened in Persona 3, happened in, like, God knows everything.
Persona 4.
Persona 4, and then my final comment from the intro is, game looks nice. There you go. Like, there you go.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. So overall thoughts that aren't just memes anymore. Things I like. The music. The music was pretty good. It's got a good soundtrack.
The music in Dark Cloud is slamming, man. I still listen to like the intro song all the time. The song from the final dungeon too is one of my favorites.
Dude, it had some good soundtrack going on. It had some good tunes. I was like, oh, this is cool. I liked the building stuff. It reminded me a lot of kind of old roller coaster tycoon kind of games, like the Jurassic Park game on the PC that I liked quite a bit when I was growing up, where it's just like, you know, you plop stuff down in grid-based format and just do stuff like that. I'm like, it's kind of cute and charming. I like that. I like the idea of everybody being blown away and you just have to pick up gems.
You have to find them out of the magical rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of cute. I loved the tech of if you switch into build mode, drag your arrow all the way to the other side of the map and then exit it.
You teleport.
It teleports you all the way over there. It's much quicker than walking. And then another thing that I was like, I like... Tell me if I'm right on this one, Hunter. I liked the cat, but I'm scared of the cat. I don't know why I'm scared of the cat. I feel like I'm scared of the cat for two reasons. I've seen Suzume, and cats can be evil in anime, so I was like, it could be evil, or it's going to be a cat girl. It's going to be one or the other, and I don't know which one it is, and I'd be terrified of either. Am I right on one of them?
Yes.
Oh, bingo. Was it?
You're not going to play the game anymore. Would you like me to tell you which one?
Was it a cat girl? It's 2000.
Yeah, she becomes. Right? You give her a potion, she turns into a girl with cat ears, and she becomes a party member.
Should have played it longer. Who knows? Anyway, things I don't like. No voice acting. I know it's in that weird era where it's like voice acting was starting to come.
Weird because it came out in like 2001.
Yeah, so it was in that era where stuff was starting to have proper voice acting in JRPGs. It feels weird, especially when you have long cutscenes and stuff like that with no one talking. It's just reading a load of text boxes. It was quite difficult to get grips. It's also a very generic kind of fantasy setting with a story, and when you see it, it's like the first thing you see, Kyle, is you've got this ritual of people dancing, and then you see like this fucking like fat guy and a guy that is just the definition of like army sergeant whatever walking, and I'm like, oh god, it's like
flag or whatever.
Yeah, it's just the generic police come storming in, and you're like, oh no.
He just has like a tan overcoat and one of those hats that like obscures his eyes.
Yeah,
evil mustache.
Yeah,
a mustache.
Yeah, and I just thought overall the story wasn't really interesting me that much. Like, I feel like if I played this as a kid, I would have been more patient with it and I wouldn't have cared as much. But coming back to like, to me, I don't really care about JRPG mechanics or just mechanics in general when it comes to that. The thing that usually keeps me hooked is the story, and this game's pretty bare bones when it comes to story. It basically is, oh, your town's blown away, get in that cave, find them, dig them out, baby, off you go.
You see, yeah, that's the thing is with this game, the first one, you go to like 5 different places and each town kind of has its own story. The problem is with the first one is, if the first town anyway, is, you know, you already live there, so it's kind of like they act like they all know you and you don't really get to learn that much about them.
Yeah. I specifically said that I didn't like the fact there was a water meter. I thought that was dumb. I'm like,
yeah, that's something they took out in the sequel.
Already? I'm like, this is a bit early to be doing random shite like that. So overall, I wrote, it's cute, but I would only recommend it if you like dungeon crawlers. I don't really talk about the gameplay, really. I'll talk about the gameplay really quick. It's a dungeon crawler, basically. It's like, get into a dungeon. Is it randomly generated? I don't know if it's randomly generated or not, but you just go into a dungeon.
Yeah, the floors aren't like in a set pattern.
Yeah,
It
there's
just
like
will
random
all.
floors. The whole idea, Kyle, is you have to whack people with your sword. One of the random enemies on the floor will have a key that lets you open the door to the next floor, and you just keep on.
Mhm.
It's basically like the old kind of JRPG
You got to
style
make
of
sure to get the magic rocks that hold the people before you leave.
Oh, of
yeah, and
course.
get the rocks that have them magic people, whatever, blah 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 blah. But also weapons have durability. You have a water meter, all this jazz. People complain about Breath of the Wild, ladies and gentlemen. This game was doing more tedium back in 2001, so fair
It
play.
sure was, and that's why, yeah, the weapons break forever. You could repair them though, which
Use
was
magic
something with
dust.
Breath.
Yeah, you can use dust
Yeah,
to repair
magic
them.
dust.
Um, But yeah, it's a standard JRPG kind of dungeon crawler experience, and I'm like, if you go in knowing that and you like that kind of thing, and you like the idea of a town builder and stuff like that on top of it, I think you could like it. To me, for someone with a short attention span who is extremely stupid when it comes to these kinds of things, it just was not hooking me in really. I gave it like 2.5, 3 hours, and it just wasn't really doing anything for me. Um,
Yeah, that's
and if you
fair.
specifically want to play a city builder or make something like that, go play something else because there's way too much of the other stuff. It's not like, you know how you can almost, when recommending Persona, it's like, hey, if you just want story, then stick it on the baby difficulty and you'll get more
Mhm.
story than gameplay in the grand scheme of things, right? This game, no. If you really want to enjoy the city builder, you have to go and do your damnedest to to do well in the regular kind of dungeon crawling sections, really. And it's more like it's like a cherry on top of the game more than an actual main feature, because it's just like, oh, once you've saved everybody, then you can plop them down and sort out rivers and stuff that are very PS2 like in their game creation
Yeah.
of right angles only, baby. Get that right angle in.
See, I think that if you see, especially with the rise of like the general, just a bunch of games in the past couple of years with this
Mhm.
kind of general loop, even with something like Hades, where it was just, do your attempt on the dungeon, go back, get some story. I feel like if they did another one of these today, it has the potential to really like capture an addicting cycle that way, because
Mm.
the further I got into this game, I felt, when I played it the couple of times I did, I got real into the loop of like upgrading the weapons and stuff because it just
Mm.
felt good to get my weapon, get my cool sword by taking other swords and turning them into little attachments to put on the sword that was going to be the super sword at the end.
Oh, and don't like, if you're into it, I can 100% see these systems going on. And also, it's just interesting to see stuff like this game has a very similar loop to things like Persona 3 and stuff that came later, where it is kind of that balance of go into a dungeon, do some stuff, come back out, meet the people that you save, sort that kind of. It has that similar kind of vibe of that two-tone structure, which I think works really well in these kinds of games. It's just whether that actually hits with you, and to me, it wasn't really, but I can see it hitting with
Yeah.
other people. There's nothing wrong with the game. I don't think there's any fundamental issues with it. Where it's mainly just me not clicking with it, rather than any
Mm.
like actual flaws that I can find in it. Except for the weapon durability being too fucking low. Like, what the hell is that, dude? I got like 20 swings from a sword, and it was like, oh, stinky, get the fuck out
Yeah,
of
and
the
if you get anything
dungeon.
besides your starting weapon, it's gone forever if it breaks,
Yeah. And they do the
which
classic
Look,
starting
sucks.
weapon, you get to keep it, but it does 1 damage once it's broken. Like, it's just
Yeah,
like, it's like swinging a fucking twig at somebody.
yeah. The classic.
Um,
That's something that they improved on in the sequel. Was I don't think the weapons were broken forever, regardless of when they were. It was just you had to fix them,
yeah. But overall,
which makes
if you like the idea of it, you might like it. There's also a sequel that does a lot of different things. It's Dark Cloud 2 in Europe, or Dark Chronicle, I think, in America.
it's a
Uh,
Dark Cloud 2 in America, and it was
the other way around. There
Dark
you go. No,
Chronicle in Europe. Yeah,
there you go. Other way around. But yeah, there you go. But no, check it out if you like that kind of thing. Go for it. Hunter, you played Superliminal. That was your shortest game.
that was. As far as like pure hour time, technically percentage wise, I beat the game. So in that sense, I played more of it than I did Assassin's Creed. But
Congratulations.
yeah, Superliminal's interesting as far as I like what they were going for with the whole perspective notion with
Mm-hmm.
their whole gimmick there. I think that I think that it could have used some work in the way they make it actually function, though.
This is why I mentioned it on the podcast a couple of weeks. I don't know. We recorded so many episodes in bulk. I don't know where it fucking came up. It came up somewhere, maybe. But I talked about how I did start up Superliminal, and just the controls were just not doing anything for me. The perspectives, it didn't feel good to try and get the right size of stuff. So I was
it
like, I'll
felt
throw
like
it on
I
a hunter
was
and put my hands behind my head and go, hey, not me.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of times I was fighting with the whole gimmick to make it work the way I wanted it to work. Which, in that kind of sense, like, in that kind of sense, it kind of falls short of something like Viewfinder, the one I played recently, where that just works exactly how it looks like it works, and that was great for it because you wouldn't expect it to work that way, or that's why Portal, on top of all the other things, is really good because that just works the way that you would want it to work, and that doesn't really happen here. But it wasn't like so horrible that it like ruined my life or anything. I still beat the game. I still, you know, moved on. I think, dude. Although, let me tell you, atmospherically it was really cool. But my God, they were really good at being like, "Oh yes, it's a dreamy kind of thing." Because in 30 minutes, I was very sleepy. I was like, okay, I'm gonna put you down, play something else, come back to you in a day or two, and then I beat the game when I did it that time. But I had to break it up into 2 sessions because the first like 2 levels were very sleep inducing, and not like a bad way. It's just kind of the vibe it was giving me. It was making me sleepy.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I will say this as far as like in another comparison to Viewfinder, just because it's another similar game that I've played recently. I think it's better at like bringing intrigue to your situation than Viewfinder was. Where like Viewfinder was cool mechanically, but like as far as the extra stuff of the setting and the context, I wasn't super into. I think that the idea that you're trapped in like this dream therapy thing and it's went awry is a really cool setup. It made for when later chapters got a little creepy. It made it really neat. I quite enjoyed it as far as that went because they did a really good job at iterating on the different ways that perspective can be used as a gimmick too. Like not every one of them was just approach it to make it look bigger. Some of it was like how light is hitting something, or the other ones are escaping me. But there was it was like the second to last level, I think, was you had objects that were in the you'd have like objects in the world that when you would go through, like they were like little doll houses essentially, and you'd go through it and you'd have another object of the room you just came out of in the room that you just went into.
Nice. Yeah.
So it was a
That's
bunch
cool.
of that I think that was when it hit the best stride with the puzzle solving, because that one was more of a I wasn't fighting as much with it because it didn't matter that much, because all I had to do was like maneuver the object that I was walking into to suddenly be somewhere else in the room.
No, fair enough.
And then there were a couple of other gimmicks that they had that are escaping me, but they did a good job at iterating on each level being different in that regard. The intrigue throughout the experience was better than I think a lot of puzzle games managed to be. Like, man, let me tell you, people say The Witness is one of the best puzzle games ever. Super boring though if you're not just in it for the sake of doing puzzles.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't get into that one because I'm like, yeah, this is fun and all, but I'm gonna leave now.
I've had enough. Thank you.
Or even something like Humanity was another one from last year that I think was really good while I was playing it, but there was not like a thing to entice me to go back, you know. But yeah, overall, I'd say this is a solid one. Play it if you like puzzle games.
Play it if you like puzzle games.
Be lenient about the controls, I guess, if you're not everything can be Portal.
If you're a control snob, maybe it plays better on mouse and keyboard. I don't know. I don't
Very
know. Maybe
possibly.
it does. Probably does, to be honest. But
this is one thing specifically about the objects and the control that I was just reminded of. It's really weird that it only lets you spin it like horizontally. Like you can hold the objects in front of you and you can only spin it one way. You can't like spin it up and down.
Huh.
Silly.
That's a choice.
Yeah,
It's weird.
it is weird. I don't have I don't have anything to say about that one. Other that is just
Yeah,
very
yeah,
weird.
that's just like a bizarre design decision.
I was like, what? And like half the time, a lot of the objects were cubic, so it didn't really matter. But like sometimes
Yeah.
there would be specific divots on the cubes that I needed to be a certain way, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Could you like
Weird.
put down the object and pick it up and change how it's oriented?
Dude, I tried so many times, but it would just like
Oh,
sometimes
does it only goes one way?
I would have to like try and drop it all stupid like and like hope it changes size and then also bounces on like its edge
Oh no.
and then lands the way that it wasn't before.
No.
Hmm.
No.
Neat.
It was a weird one. Like I said, you might it might vary. I just might have just had not the. I just probably didn't have the patience for it, to be honest. Like sometimes when I get awkward controls, I'm just like, fuck it, I can't. Instead of maybe going, hang on, let's give it a chance. I'm just like, no,
quit.
we'll get to that later when we talk about Shadow of the Colossus. But I sometimes interesting control schemes just don't work with me, and that's okay. Kyle, you played The Evil
Ethan.
Within for a period of time. Speaking of things that might not work with you, how did you find The Evil Within?
Speaking of not being able to turn, so one of the first things I noticed about this game was that in the options menu, there's no inverting the x-axis. You can only invert the y-axis
I
in the
believe,
year of our Lord 2014.
In the year
Your
of our
Honor,
Lord
I believe that's what we
2014,
call
there
a
were still
skill issue.
psychopaths.
I believe it's because we thought that we had gotten rid of all these.
We thought we
weirdos that
evolved
use
past
inverted.
this.
Yeah, we evolved. We moved on. Everybody
didn't.
else learned how to get a grip. Like, what the hell is this?
I mean, look, I learned how to play the video game.
Yeah, what
I was
looking
grumpy
left
the
to go
whole
left?
time,
I
though.
don't. That's fucking revolutionary. That one, isn't it? Wow, that's crazy.
Not a fan.
Yeah,
Not a
well,
fan. Not a
here's the
fan of
thing.
that turn.
I will always support our friends that are the invert of the Y. I can understand that from time to time. I think you're pretty crazy unless you're driving like a plane or something. But
Yeah, it
I can
only really works for me in like Star Fox.
yeah, something like that. But I can understand you. You're built weird, but I respect you. Inverse X's, weirdos. What the fuck? Get the hell out of my bar, dude. What the fuck are you doing? Like, no. You can't
Alright,
if you can't steer sober while you're drinking, fuck off, dude. No, you can't do it. Anyway. But
yeah, so Evil Within, this is like a action horror kind of game in the same vein of Resident Evil.
Yeah, closer to like 4.
Yeah, 4. Not as much 5 though. 5 is just an action game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 4 is probably the best point of comparison.
Yeah.
Game's all right.
That's it, guys. Thank you. I hope you Evil Within fans enjoyed that riveting.
I was like, I hope you expound more so I don't have to just talk about it for 5 minutes.
You don't get to. It's his game. If he wants to just shit on it,
well,
not having inverted X.
Well, no. I mean, if he didn't have any opinion at all, I feel like it would be on me to fill the time a little bit.
No. If he doesn't have an opinion, we move on, Hunter. That's the rules. You've had plenty of chance to talk about the Evil Within the past 4 years. Like, get a grip. Kyle, say your piece.
So I played 6 hours of it. I got to the start of chapter 9, which is about like halfway into the game. I looked it up. There's like 15 chapters, I think it was.
Yeah.
Well,
so
anyway.
we got a good ways into the game. I didn't dislike it, but I also wasn't like blown back by it, you know? A lot of the game just felt very basic. I think that's a good word for it. And the horror, like a lot of the horror aspect of this game comes from like creepy monster body horror, which
this is a very like Japanese horror game.
yeah, which for me, like that kind of horror doesn't really affect me that much. It's like my brain can be like, okay, this is like abstract enough for me to know this isn't real. Like I think it's in chapter 3 when they introduce like what's basically like the best way to describe it is like the woman from The Ring, but like
But
as a spider body.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that one.
Which is hilarious since Patches terrifies you.
Okay.
I don't
Look,
fuck with
patches
patches.
in
Spider
Bloodborne
patches,
hit like an uncanny valley,
no
dude.
one fucks with spider patches, Hunter. No one fucks with that for one. And two, that would be my nightmare because that's like spider patches. And also, don't know if I've mentioned on the show before. When I first played Dead by Daylight, which I've only ever played like 3 matches of Dead by Daylight in my life. My first one was I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. What's the worst that could happen? I never knew that the recent DLC they added was the ring, and I came across that. I literally shat myself, dude. Literally, just fucking woman crawl out of TV. I literally shat. Like I was like, nah, dude, nah. That's literally those are two of my nightmares put back to back as a spider fucker from the ring. Now, no, never playing that game. Screw that.
He just ripped the PS5 out of the wall and chucked it out the window.
It was my Series X, and I might as well have,
Oh.
dude, because I've not played anything on. There's nothing worth playing at the moment, is there, guys? Hellblade 2 coming in May. I'm not playing that either. Anyway. But yeah, so, I've seen bits and pieces of the Evelyn before. I know, I've always known, even from the box art and stuff like that game's never going to be my jam. Never was going to be. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of body horror, to be honest. Most of the time for me, I'm not a huge jump scare fan, but it's just like that's just weird to me. I'm like, fuck off, dude.
Oh, don't worry, this game's got those too.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Hey. What else has it got?
It's got a lot of missions that feel like they would be in a Resident Evil game.
Shinji Mikami, baby.
Hey. No, like I feel like I'm doing this game a disservice by comparing it to Resident Evil. Because like back in 2014, we didn't have the Resident Evil remakes.
No,
like I'm pretty sure
have AAA horror games, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to like put myself into the mindset of where people would be at in 2014.
Like, yeah, you got your pick of this or Alien Isolation, essentially.
Yeah.
At a AAA
Dude,
level.
That's sometimes how I feel about stuff like when Ukulele came out and it got like 68s or whatever, and I had a good time with it. But I think it's just because from a platformer mindset, there was such a drought and stuff like that. When it's really like we had the 2016 remake of Ratchet and Clank, and that was about it. Like NST hadn't come out yet. None of this rebirth of like a load of platforms coming out. When you're in a different headspace, games can hit different, where it's like when you're in a drought, then maybe you will like this, and then when you're playing it when literally we have a Resident Evil every year, it seems, and everybody else is trying to make a horror game or a remake of a classic, you're just in a different mindset entirely compared to 2014.
Like nowadays, if you've exhausted all of your potential horror game options, I would say, yeah, check this game out. But honestly, if you still haven't played the Resident Evil remakes, just play those instead.
The sequel is better though, isn't it, Hunter, for the Evil then?
So
I can't remember.
So I'm of the unpopular opinion that I think that the first game is a better horror game. Like technically the sequel plays better and stuff, but the way it's structured, like they make the levels more open-ended and whatnot. And in 2. And for something like it kind of there's like this kind of abstract town sort of thing that you're traversing through. So all of the, claustrophobia of the corridors and stuff is gone because anytime you come across a group of monsters, you can basically back up 10 feet and walk to the left 10 feet and then suddenly evade everything. Like that kind of worked back in the day with Silent Hill because the fog was there and you could only go 2 feet without a monster stirring your Kool-Aid anyway. So, it worked as a connective tissue that way, but I don't really think it worked very well in The Evil Within 2. And I took notice of that because in that game, like the linear like horror missions were the best parts of that one. They also like the second game. There were like 3 separate, like he mentioned Laura, the spider ring demon.
Oh, that thing had a name?
Yeah, you would have learned that if you played up to chapter 10.
Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, her name's Laura.
What a shame,
but
what a shame.
So she was, for that game, unique. It's got the typical like Japanese horror dark-haired woman with the ring thing, but she's also a spider. They do the Japanese horror dark-haired woman thing like 3 more times in the second game. Like, there's one that's literally just, like, the same thing, but a ghost. Like, not a spider, but just kinda like the ring, but a ghost. There's one
Ah,
that's, like, you know, got, like, 700 arms coming off of one big arm or something, and the other arm's a saw blade, but it's still, like and then there's a
huh.
third one, I think. I can't remember anymore, but
See, like, and
s
it's like wacky
Mm.
shit like that. I wouldn't think that's scary. I would think that's funny.
oh, dude,
Just like the absurdity.
I thought it was like even first playthrough of the first Evil Within game when the number of times the dude in the white robe, his name is Rubik, the number of times he just shows up and throws Seabass down a hallway and then hits him with a tidal wave of blood. It's weird that that happens more than once.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
the other thing about this game. Like, I really didn't give a shit about any of the characters.
Oh man,
I
yeah,
really
like
didn't think that Seabass and his partners were that interesting.
Seabass is
So
like a
much
plank
so
of
for
wood.
like,
Joseph Oda is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, and my God, that could not save him. He sucks.
dude, I have an embarrassing admission. It took me until chapter 6 to realize that he was voiced by Lowenthal. It took me way
Oh,
too long to realize that.
It
boo.
took me a while to be sure.
Dude, you're falling off. Your Yuri Lowenthal radar is just falling off, dude. You're
Ugh,
not getting. It's not working
sorry,
like it
dude.
used to.
I need to play more Spider-Man.
You do. You need to
In
pick up
Kyle's
Spider Man
defense, this
for the
game, the
PS5.
performances in this game by everyone except the villain are very subdued.
Yeah.
Hey, fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, I just like I didn't really find the cast interesting. I didn't so I by extension then I didn't really give a shit about where the story was going. I don't know. It was kind of just like a whole us like an amalgamation of just things not working for me.
Yeah, and to be fair, like the story, like chapter 10 is where a lot of things get contextualized,
Ah,
but the
Don't listen
story
to him. Don't
itself.
listen to him, Carl. You made the right choice. Don't listen to him.
No, no, like by all
Look at him.
means, if
He's
you
oh
trying
don't
to
no,
feel
I'm
help.
like
sticking by
playing it
my
anymore,
guns and
I
quitting
would
where I
tell you to
quit.
play Dead Space, finish that before finishing this. But what I'm saying is, up until chapter 10, it just feels like a lot of things are happening to you.
Hmm. Yeah, that was something I took down in my notes where just a lot of the game up to that point just felt like a lot of set pieces without like any real coherence to why they're there,
Mm.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, wouldn't it be weird if a dude in a white robe threw you down a hallway with inception
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
gravity and then shot you with blood? Like,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of different stuff like that.
Huh. Bizarre game. But hey, there you go. I guess.
It's
Yeah.
bizarre, but yeah.
Yeah, I
There you
think that
go.
about sums it up. Play it if you like horror games and you have nothing else to play.
I wouldn't go
Wow,
that far. I'm sure there
what an endearing
I think
endorsement
that I
that one
think if
is.
I thought about
Yeah,
it
I'm sure there's
long
worse
and
horror
like if
games.
I thought about it long and hard enough,
Yeah, but
or
Hunter, you've
for
got
more
the
than just a minute.
encyclopedia of horror games, right? Kyle's literally
Well, yeah,
played
I'm
like
just saying.
4.
Kyle is saying this off of the back of he's only played Resident Evil.
And
Well,
like half of Dead Space
right. I'm
remake.
sorry. I thought this was the time where if Kyle says it's shit, I'm trusting Kyle. We gave these games to each other, knowing that we could hate them, and
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. Why do you
Hunter's
think
out
I
here
gave Ethan
pleading the
2
fifth.
PS2 games?
Dude, yeah, dude, fucking Hunter's about to take his mask off and reveal he's fucking Shinji Mikami under there, dude, with the amount he's defending this fucking game. Calm down. We'll be fine. Anyway, let's talk about another PS2 game, because like I said, Hunter fucking got off easy. Hunter got newish games. Ethan got the barrel, dude, the dregs. Fucking the
Look,
things
man,
that...
I thought you'd like the town building of Dark Cloud.
That's nice, dude. Of my 3 hours, that was roughly about 20 minutes, if that. And that's because I
Bro, I don't
sat
know the
there.
pacing of Dark Cloud. I never played
Dude,
it.
I made it last 20 minutes. I was like, Kyle promised me a town builder. This is what I fucking get. I'm just gonna sit in this menu for 20 fucking minutes looking at how the rivers are built with stupid fucking right angles. And I only had 4 pieces, so it was more of a stream than anything. Anyway, Shadow of the Colossus is a video game. Thank you for coming to
Yeah.
my TED Talk. Now, I have an interesting relationship with Shadow of the Colossus because I played it for all of about 10 minutes. Not even that really, where well, let's say half an hour actually, because the first cutscene again, is 6 million years long. It's about 15 minutes long. Why? I don't know, but it was. Um, so I watched that 15-minute opening movie, and then I got to the point where you control Wanda, and then it said press triangle to call your horse, and then I got on the horse. It controlled like shite. I had to climb up that rock. I closed the application. I uninstalled the video game, and I went, "See you later, bye bye." And then Kyle's like, "Back for round two." So here we go again. And this time, I can actually say that I did beat Shadow of the Colossus. Um,
Hey.
Not only that, I did beat Shadow of the Colossus twice. Uh,
Wow.
Not only that, I did actually platinum the
He did
game
it for a
because once I
plat.
was in,
Yeah,
I was
there it
in.
is.
Because if I'm gonna be forced to play a video game, I'm getting something
In for
out
a
of it.
penny, in for a platinum.
No, I do want it
I'm
right.
like, don't be fooled, audience. When he says he played it twice, that means he did it for something. He never replays games.
That's not true.
He had an ulterior motive.
I replay platformers quite a lot. I feel like there is
And
usually
what is
ulterior
Shadow of the
motives.
Colossus but a fancy platformer? If you really think about it.
A fucking janky platformer more
An
than fancy
RPG.
platform.
An
But
ongoing
no,
game.
the biggest compliment that I can give this game was I originally didn't give Kyle any fucking shadow of a doubt on this one. Where I have my separate PlayStation profile where I go to piss about on games because I have a trophy problem. So I go on that, pick up Shadow of the Colossus, play the first 3 Colossi, enjoy it quite a bit, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll go on my main. I'll just play it on proper main. So I replay the first 3 Colossi again just to get through that bit again, and then just carry on playing. And the controls are very bad. Like, they're not good controls, but once you get used to them and get over that hurdle, it's an alright video game. I can see why people like it. It has a lot of kind of precursors to what the following generation of video games would become in terms of it's essentially being an open world and and it having regions and stuff like that, where it's like it's very much built in the spirit of, okay, I can see where a lot of video games like Assassin's Creed and stuff like got the ideas of these worlds that they're building from Shadow of the, like, it's got a lot of precursors in it. um at the end of the day, it still just comes down to see the big thing, work out how to get on the big thing, stab it, shiny blue points, job done, everybody. Let's watch a cutscene where where the guy in the sky goes, kill another big thing, and we repeat the process. I liked it quite a bit. I think it's a bit of a hit and miss. Overall, I think there are a lot of Colossi that are fun. I think whenever water's involved, it's a miserable fucking adventure.
Oh, that second water Colossus, I
The one
still
underneath,
hate, especially.
the water snake thing is awful. What an awful Colossus that was. Because the first step of that is wait about till he gets angry at you, and then you can start playing the game. I'm like, well, that's a great first step. And it's like, and second step is make sure you're in the perfect position you can grab his tail, because if not, you have to wait another 2 minutes to try that again. I'm like, oh god, stupid Colossus. Did not like that one at all. Other ones I weren't a fan of. The stupid sky one, not the bird one with the water. That one was fine. The stupid sky one, we have to shoot his air sacs down, so you have to grab
No,
onto
you
this.
didn't like him?
No, he fucking sucked because like the aggro's got the controls of a fucking bar of soap, dude. So when I'm trying to aim at that fucking thing to jump on it, aggro's like, do you mind if I don't? And then just fucking U-turns. I'm like, no, you stupid fuck. The amount of times I shouted at this horse, spoilers for Shadow of the Colossus if you haven't played it, when the fake death happens, like, well, at least I don't have to deal with the shitty controls anymore. Goodbye. Like, I was like, I didn't care. That was not an emotional moment for me. I was like, oh, thank God the final Colossus isn't a horse one. Like, oh. But yeah, wasn't a huge fan of that one. I wasn't a huge fan of the stupid the stupid aggro one where you have to use fire to drop it off the
Oh
cliff,
yeah,
and then when
people.
you
The
get
two
on it,
small ones are the ones
yeah,
that people really don't like.
yeah, because you get on it and then it just charges forever, and you don't have a chance to stab it ever, and it's like it's just
Yeah.
really. annoying. I know people get really sick of the shake on the game, like the shaking of the Colossus, and you just have to hold R2 and do nothing. On a first playthrough, I think that's perfectly fine because I was just in the moment, right? But when you are playing them multiple times, like for time trials, I ended up playing each Colossus like 6 times in the end. Because that's how many times you have to do it. I'm sick in the head. But when you start doing them, there is just nothing more annoying than the fucker shaking. You're just like, I just want to stab you right now. Let me stab you, for goodness sake. How hard is it? But I think there are some. I think the first like the first 3 Colossi I think are really solid. They're really good. They're a really good tutorial on how to start the game and how the game works. I think they're really well done. There are a couple of hit and misses. There are a couple of bad ones, but I think overall they're all pretty well made. They're cool little boss fights that I like quite a bit. As for the world itself, I think it's all kind of used. Again, I feel like it's kind of playing Shadow of the Colossus in 2024 for the first time is very much different from playing Shadow of the Colossus on the PS2 for the first time, where you want to ride around on your horse and see what the world looks like and find all the apples or whatever the fuck you want to do. I was reading online, everyone's like, oh, the game's like 10 hours long. I beat it in like 4 because I was just literally going, where's the beast? Stab the beast. Like, I was like, let's go, baby. But, I liked it quite a bit. It's interesting because it's very simplistic in its nature. I think that I already knew the story because it's like
It's
Final
one of
Fantasy
those things. If
7.
you
It's one of those
existed
things
on
you know.
YouTube
Yeah.
in the year of 2009, that you were going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I thought the story was interesting. It was pretty decent. I think there's a lot of replay value in it. I like games that when you play them for the first time, it takes like 5 or 6 hours, and then when you play it for the second time after you know everything, you can get it done in like an hour and 45 minutes. I like those games because it just makes you feel like without practicing, without doing anything, just going through it, that you've learned a lot, so that you've learned so much that you can literally just breeze through the fucking video game. I really like games like that. I liked it quite a bit. I just think that it definitely feels like you feel the age of Shadow of the Colossus, even with a Blue Point remake. You feel the age of Shadow of the Colossus. But I'd recommend it if you've ever thought about giving it a try. If you like the idea of climbing up beards and stabbing people in blue shiny spots with a big sword. My favorite thing was doing the time trials on hard, and then you get a fucking blue sword, which I think is from Ico, but I didn't care where it was from because you just stab them and it just instantly kills that spot. That was satisfying.
Oh,
Then going
nice.
around stabbing things again because I needed max health, just stab fucking one shot. It was really cool. I started doing on the first Colossus. I just climb up to his head and then start doing 360 slam shots down and just instantly killing it.
Nice. Oh man!
And this is why I'm like,
God.
the poetry of the story goes away when you have to play each character. Like, I had to play each Colossus 6 times in terms of time trials, and then I had to grind the first 2 Colossi 40 fucking times to get the
I
fucking
remember
XP.
earlier
Don't
this
platinum
week.
it. Don't do that.
Earlier this
Such
week,
a
an
shit
article
platinum.
about the extra mode in the Last of Us remaster thing came out about how it was like antithetical to the story. And
Yeah,
you
dude.
talking about that just reminded me
The
of that.
trophies
It's
are
like,
don't do the trophies for Shadow of the Clock. If you want it as like an artistic piece of like, wow, that's beautiful and I had a lot of fun, don't platinum it, because literally the last 4 hours of me playing that game were me 360 no scoping the first 2 Colossus dozens of times over and over again. Like, it genuinely was just like I was just watching Taskmaster on one monitor and just fucking 360 stabbing the other, the Colossi on the other, and I was just like, this is what I'm doing. And yeah, but it's a fun, like I say, it's a fun time. I'd recommend Shadow of the Colossus if you're into it, if you can get over the controls. They do get better. No, I don't know why you have to grab R2 to fucking climb up even just regular ledges. I don't know why triangle calls the horse. I don't know why triangle runs the horse. No, silly fucking control scheme. Very dumb. Why are there multiple arrows types and stuff you can unlock? I don't know.
I forgot there were multiple arrow types.
There are multiple arrow types, and you'll never use them because you just stab. That's the
Yeah.
moral of the story, guys. That's what Shadow of the Colossus taught me was
Dad.
arrows are for fucking hitting them in the shin. The sword is where it matters, boys. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Case closed, Your Honor. That's all I had to say was hit him in the shin. Anyway, it's pirate time, Hunter, because you played
Ahoy.
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. How much of this did you play? I don't know.
Uh, I think I finished up to like sequence 7. It was like
It's also
7 or 8.
very far then. Like, isn't it?
Yeah.
How long's that
Like
game? I don't remember
I
how long
think the
that game
last
is.
date was like October 17, 18. So like we're a
You're
month
saying that as if I'm like, yes, my
like
favorite time.
historically we're a month before Blackbeard dies.
So you the game does go that far, kind of. Like it keeps going.
Oh, like I know when Blackbeard dies. I
There you
don't
go.
know if it happens in the
Of
story
course
or
you
whatever.
do.
Yeah, he died on my birthday, or what would be
Oh.
my birthday.
Oh, that actually makes
Oh yeah.
sense. I
Yeah,
thought
of
this
course.
was just like a weird Hunter fun fact.
Well, I would know it regardless, but
Well, yeah,
it
that's
makes
what
it
I
more
mean.
fun.
That's Hunter knowledge right there, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's 13 sequences
yeah.
in
So
Assassin's Creed 4.
I'm a little over halfway,
Mm-hmm.
something about thereabouts. Um, so yeah, this has been interesting. Assassin's Creed is definitely better when you have years and years apart from the last time you played it and
Oh,
the current
100%.
time you're playing it.
100%.
Ah, because like I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but for people who might be newer, I tapped out at 3 because Connor was a charisma vacuum and I couldn't deal with that after Ezio was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And also like I should have liked the whole historical uh colonial USA angle more than I did for being a history nerd, but I didn't. So
I think
that
a
was
lot
the
of
one
people
that made
tapped
me.
out on Assassin's Creed 3. I was tempted
Yeah.
to tap out on Assassin's Creed 3, but luckily luckily for Ubisoft, PS4 had no launch game. So when Ethan was getting a PS4, well, when Ethan and his dad were getting a PS4 for Christmas, there weren't that many games that we could get. So Assassin's Creed 4 was one of them. So I did end up trying it.
It's like, if this had been the one that had come out instead of 3, I probably would have kept with the series for at least another entry.
Yeah, dude, that's what it restored my hope for a little bit. That's what Black
Yeah,
Flag
because
did,
like
dude. It's
I've
great.
I've been enjoying my time with this one. There's been a lot of instances where I'm like, oh yes, this is what it was like. Like when I'm chasing someone down and I run into a wall and I'm just stuck running up the wall for like 5 minutes because he won't stop running up the wall that he can't climb. So I'm like, I guess I'm just
Dude.
gonna do this until it kills me because I'm not gonna catch him anymore.
Or the fact that
But
like every 5 missions is a tailing mission, and
yeah, it's a
sometimes
very
these tailing
tailing
missions go
mission
from
heavy
person to
game.
boat, which is my favorite part. Is
Yeah, person to 2 people to someone else to yeah.
yeah, there's some fun stuff.
So that's not my favorite thing in the world because it's very tailing heavy. But
Yeah,
as far as like pirates are cool. I like pirates quite a bit. So this
mm.
game is, tickling an itch that way. Because Edward Kenway, unlike his grandson, very charismatic, very cool. I like him quite a bit. I
He's my
like
second
his
favorite assassin in the
yeah,
entire
yeah,
franchise. He's
yeah.
fantastic.
Going off of the limited experience I have compared to you, he's also my second favorite
Dude, he's
out of
great.
4.
I knew that you'd like him instantly because, like I said to Kyle, I think I mentioned this to Kyle as well. Where it's like the
Mhm.
first thing he does is sees a dead assassin, nicks his outfit because it looks cool, and then when the assassins are like, "Do you want to join us?" He's like, "Nah, but I'll keep the outfit," and then just walks away. I'm like, "Yeah, this guy's great."
I think this is a really fun angle for him too. Is like he doesn't really care about the Templar assassin conflict that's going on. He's like, I'm just gonna keep pirating, being pirate and stuff.
Yeah,
And I think that's a really fun one, especially for where you were at in the series at that point. Where I don't remember what was going on in 3, but Ezio was very much, very coming of age story he went through, and then in the second game, and then his sequels and all that. And
well,
Altair
3
was
was always interesting because Connor's dad Hatham was a Templar,
yeah,
who
yeah,
is Edward's son.
yeah.
And so it's interesting to see because his Hatham had a detachment to the Creed because of his dad. So it's interesting to see where that stems from, and you can probably see why, because Edward doesn't really care about the
Edward didn't
assassins
care
that
about the
much
creed
either.
either.
So yeah,
Yeah.
um,
It's just yeah, the thing about Hatham being a Templar that's been confusing is it's not like Edward sympathized with the Templars either.
no,
But yeah. But yeah, he's a really cool character as far as like the flashbacks to his time before, like with the Caroline, I think is her
yeah,
name, are super interesting as far as like seeing that as what his motivator is. It's like he just wanted to be he didn't want to be a peasant for the rest of his life. Was all he
yeah.
really wanted. It was almost kind of like the insecurity of not being good enough that drove him initially. So that's been super fun as far as
I
just
think
seeing his journey.
it's interesting because I feel like Assassin's Creed 4, and I know you've not got to the end. It's one of the more human stories by the time you get to it, but
Yeah.
especially when you get into the latter half of it. It is genuinely one, because, like you say, those kind of ambitions and the creed and all that bollocks that every other Assassin's Creed game holds itself up to and kind of sticks to it, whether you like it or not. It's like, I love Ezio's story. It's great, but so much of it is based on this belief system and what he believes in, and so much is entangled in the creed and all that jazz that sometimes it can kind of take you out of it. Whereas Assassin's Creed 4 is, there is assassins in your Adewale, and there's like all these kind of characters that are like threads are weaving in and out, but none of it really matters to Edward, and it's all more of a human connection to friends and whatever happens along the way, right? And I think it
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
it for
Like
a lot
even in
more
this
interesting a
first
story.
half of the story has been super interesting as far as like the whole Nassau thing where there's like they're falling apart and they're
Yeah.
doing their best to not.
Hmm.
It's been super interesting that way. Oh man, complete aside, but Sid from Final Fantasy 16 is one of the pirates in this game. That took me by complete surprise. I was like, "Yo, it's Blackbeard," and then a second later, I'm like, "Yo, it's Sid." After I heard the other guy talk, I'm like, "Oh man, nice."
Yeah. Dude,
But yeah,
it's a good.
character wise, there's a bunch of stuff I like. I love Edward's friendship with Bonnet, the merchant guy.
Yeah.
That one's been great so far. Blackbeard himself is very captivating. I like that in the same like span of 30 seconds, he'll go from doing his like, oh, I'm Blackbeard, intimidating, ahoy, and all that, to being like, yo, what up, Edward? If Edward walks by. Like I
Mm,
remember specifically, like sometime a few days ago, I got a scene where he was doing his whole intimidation shtick to demonstrate to a Bonnet because his Bonnet was on his ship for some reason. I don't
mhm.
really remember the specifics. And he seems to be wearing a hat that was rigged with dynamite or something. I don't,
Yeah.
I believe that's what it was. And after he was done with his whole spiel, Edward was like, "Hat looks great, by the way." He's like, "Of course it does." I'm like, "Oh, this is fantastic."
Dude, it's one of those games where it's like I I'm like 90% sure that by the end of this generation, we know there's an Assassin's Creed 4 remake coming. I think they are going to start remaking old Assassin's Creeds at some point soon, not just 4. I think we're going to get to that point. And there's only 2 games that I would ever care for, and that's Assassin's Creed 2 and this one. These are like,
Yeah,
because one, I think they're old enough that they both could do, like, I think 4 still looks great, but it still has that
the water
PS3
still
model
looks really good.
uncanny valleyness to it, and there's
The
some.
people, especially the modern day people, look bad.
That's the worst part of Assassin's Creed 4 is the modern stuff. Like, you
The
can
worst
tell
part
they
of
didn't
any
even
Assassin's
care.
Creed is the modern day
Yeah, but you
stuff.
can tell they didn't care with this one, and it's even
That's
worse when
because
they
it
don't
shouldn't
care.
even be here. At least with the Desmond stuff in the other games, it seemed to be leading to something at the time. This
Whereas this one
time,
just doesn't, yeah.
you're just a guy who is
Just a guy.
you
You
don't
do.
even
You work for
you just work at
Abstergo's video
Abstergo
game
and like
division. Look, Kyle, you literally are. They're like, we're gonna make a video game out of this. It's all
if it
meta and
was
shit. It's awful. It's really
if it
bad.
was an introductory cutscene to contextualize why you're still seeing stories of assassins in universe
Mhm.
after Desmond is departed or whatever, that's I would have accepted that. It kicked me out again. Like I think it's happened to me like thrice now, and let me tell you, every time I've just become more and more annoyed
It
because these
happens
part
again.
I
It
didn't
will
even
happen at
like
least one
this.
more time.
I didn't even like this when it was building to something with Desmond. I was like, well, fine, but I don't like you. But now it's even worse because you've got this moron chirping in your ear about conducting shady activities, who's like bipolar, by the way. He went from being like, oh, go and do this illicit task or whatever to, and then like in the span of 2 seconds, it's like, oh, don't like that? Well, screw you. I own you. I'm going to blow the whistle on you or something. I'm like, where did this come from? I feel like I missed a scene.
It's all yeah, it's all garbage. And to be fair, it's interesting because Rogue I think also has it because of course it fucking did. Um, but if Unity literally just has a cutscene at the start that's just like Lamau, and then it just literally just plays as an Assassin's Creed game. And Syndicate does this thing where it shows like a couple of modern day cutscenes in the game at different points, but it's just a cutscene that you have to watch, and then you just fucking straight back in, and it's like okay.
Oh,
And then as soon as Origin, then they started it back up again with Origins, where you have to play as a fucker outside the Animus for a bit for no fucking reason again.
Stop it.
But
Like I thought it's pretty easy to tell. That's not the reason people care about these games.
well, I did, but I was a stupid like 8-year-old. How old was I when I first 2007? So I was a stupid 10-year-old or whatever, dude. Like I loved that stuff, but that was because it was
Well, yeah, I'm
stupid.
not saying I wasn't being strung along by the initial story the first time either, but it's like definitely the
Oh,
cool
the story in
assassin
Assassin's
stuff
Creed
was
2, that shit was sick, dude. Like the breakout at the
like
start of Assassin's
it
Creed
was
2
the
was
cool
pretty cool,
assassin
dude.
stuff
Yeah.
that I was more interested in, even regardless of like Desmond could have been like shooting people akimbo style with like submachine guns, and I would have cared less about him than Ezio.
Dude, yeah.
You know, but yeah,
Oh,
it's
what a game.
especially egregious here because it's completely pointless.
Oh, 100%. No disagreeing with
Uh,
you there.
but let's see. Do I have any other complaints? I already talked about the tailing missions. Um, uh, no, that's about it. Uh, as far as like, yeah, the stupid modern day stuff, tailing mission heavy, and then just typical things that I would have expected from it being an Assassin's Creed game that's kind of old.
Yeah.
But
There's some interest there's some rusty parts to it. I think I don't know if you ever reached a point. Sometimes it depends how much you upgraded your ship. Sometimes it would like there was one point in the game, it was pretty early on, so I think you've already passed it. But it was like it wouldn't start a mission because your ship wasn't strong enough. And I just remember
oh,
being like, you fucking
I've had
bastard.
main missions where it tells me that I should upgrade my ship, and then I just send it anyway.
Of
But
course you
No.
do.
yeah,
But
but
no, yeah.
it typically worked out. But you know, uh, but yeah, as far as like, yeah, character wise, I think it's great. Like all of these pirate guys are pretty cool. Like James Kidd, the other one,
Yeah.
is especially funny because that one the twist there was actually super. It was funny because I think I thought about it for a second before the story just moved on after his introduction. And I was like,
Mhm.
and then later on, it turned out to be, oh, I was right. And then
Yeah.
I like how he hassles Edward about nicking the garb too. They're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, that's not you. You're a fake and a fraud."
Yeah. I already
Like,
knew the
man,
story about I already knew the story about I don't want to I already know about Kid. I already
yeah,
knew that story. So,
yeah,
but it was it was fun to see it play out in uh a different medium, I guess, instead of just hearing about it or reading about
yeah,
it. It's always fun. Um I don't know. It's always interesting because it's like I feel like with Assassin's Creed in the past and stuff like that, yeah, you meet like historical figures. And Assassin's Creed 2, it's just like, oh look, it's fucking Da Vinci, like hell yeah, dude, homie, and he's the
he's your
lad.
best
You're like,
buddy.
hell yeah. And
It's
Assassin's Creed 3
amazing.
is lame with its like its historical characters. You're just like, who gives a
Well,
toss,
yeah, that's
bro?
because like
Lame.
Assassin's Creed 2 had Da Vinci. You get the founding fathers.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and now
Like,
this,
man,
and
Da
yeah, and
Vinci
then
to
this,
Thomas Jefferson.
yeah,
Gross.
and then this game just went back to them being homies again. And you're like, hell yeah, bro, like. I love historical like as much as that like I like learning about history, but also I think it's way funnier when you're just like homies with them. They just like, yeah, what's up, bro? How's it going? I just think that's more funny. Or spinning
That
on
was
it
the
a bit.
kind of amusing thing about this game was I thought it was gonna take a little while for Edward to be like respected amongst the
Hmm.
pirate people, but no, it was like essentially like soon as he got back, as soon as he took the outfit, he seemed to be like, "Oh yeah, we know you."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's fine too." Oh yeah, I think one of the other things that this isn't like a major complaint, but going from like mission to mission, I feel like sometimes feels a bit disjointed.
Hmm.
Just because, like, it'd be like, go over here. It feels like there wasn't much of an indication at the end of whatever the previous main mission was. Sometimes
Where
that
you going next?
that's where
Yeah.
you would be going next. It's kind of like, oh, gotta check the map to see where it tells me to go,
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Well, a lot of that game was just pissing about a lot. I did that
Yeah,
so much. Just it told you go
I
miles
haven't.
away, and like, hell yeah, I'm gonna just go fight shit and see what I can find.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of the extra stuff. Like mostly, it's been assassin contracts because
Hmm.
that's the easy stuff to do. And then like the Templar hunts or whatever that show up a little later. I've been doing those.
I was just a maniac, dude. I was just like, it's pirate time. I don't know what it was, but I was like, pirate time. It's time to ram into people. It's time to do all sorts of stuff. I'd just be like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just one of those games where it's just super satisfying. Obviously, you could do it in like other games with pirates in it before, but there's just something. Assassin's Creed combat is so junk food with how it plays, but the idea of ramming into somebody else's ship and then jumping onto it and doing Assassin's Creed junk food combat, there's just some kind of dopamine kick in that where it's just like it's like all the neurons are firing. You're just like, yes, stupid shit, love it.
Oh, I guess that's one thing. The combat, and maybe I'm just misremembering how the games before it played, but I feel like they made you have to pay a little bit more attention to like countering and stuff in this one.
Yeah,
Because like,
they you can't just do the hold
yeah,
R1
hold
square
R1 and push
technique anymore.
square
Yeah, that's
is
the classic.
like, I know that was the good old standby for the first game, and I think Assassin's Creed 2 you had to do the break defense thing on bigger dudes occasionally,
Yeah,
but you
you
could
had
still
only bigger
mostly.
dudes though. Every other button
Yeah.
you could still do the R1 square thing.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's what I was thinking. I just couldn't remember specifically. So
Unless
I
they pulled
like
the sand in your eye technique, dude, which was
oh,
the
the pocket
fucking
sand.
fuck off pocket sand, dude.
But yeah, so to that extent, I guess at least they made the combat a little bit more engaging. Because like I definitely remember the days of like Assassin's Creed 1 just taking out an entire city of
I
people
feel just
with two
parry,
buttons.
parry. Counter, counter,
It
counter.
was the most autopilot monkey brain nonsense.
Dude, it was so good. It was so good though.
Yeah.
Junk food, dude.
Yeah.
Junk food. Just like
Yeah,
dopamine
yeah.
kick.
So they made it
Assassin's
better
Creed
in
2
that
was
respect.
stupider. I still remember where it's like, oh yeah, if you do the R1 square thing, if you then if you time your square button right, you can just press square once, it'll just automatically kill the next person as well. So you can just go on a chain of
Oh, I
doing
think I
nothing
forgot
but just
about that.
an
That's
R1 and
hilarious.
square, and then just square, square, square. Everyone's dead. You're like, hell yeah, what a great video
Oh,
game. I love
nice.
Assassin's Creed 2. It is the GOAT.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, closing thoughts. I can understand why people were always like, "Oh, it's too bad you stopped before you played this one."
it's a good one. You could stop after you played this one as well, and then you'll be perfect. Then you
I
know that
intend to. I'm just
there's
waiting for the
nothing,
witchy game after that.
which is probably going to be another 4 years anyway. So that's enough time to
Yeah,
enjoy an
yeah.
Assassin's
So it's
Creed
enough.
game. Yeah,
There's like part of me is like, "Oh man, it might be cool to play Assassin's Creed 2 again or something." But then I'm also like, if I start doing that, I'm probably gonna quit halfway through or something. Where I feel like I'm gonna finish this once I play Prince of humorous that Prince of Persia of all things is now what's putting the
yeah.
pause button on this.
I mean, like I said, man, it's only a matter of time. Ubisoft will one day remake Assassin's Creed 2, and it'll either be the greatest day or the worst day. We'll find out in a decade. Um,
Yeah, you won't be allowed to own it because they hate you.
it's true. No, only. Please buy Ubisoft Plus for the low, low price. I don't even know what it was.
Prince of Persia made me make a Ubisoft account. I was so annoyed.
Ew, you had to make one?
I think if I would have turned off the console's Wi-Fi or something, I could have like circumvented that, but I wasn't really thinking about that at the time.
Yeah,
But like
that's gross.
that's
I'm sorry.
that's
Sorry you had to
gross.
go through that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tragic.
Ubisoft has my email now. Ugh.
Don't want to give him that. No, sir. Right. Anyway, Kyle, take us home.
Yes,
Your second game was I Am Setsuna.
correct. This is a
How much have you
JRPG
played?
from Square that came out around 2016. I think it was like the start of 2016.
It's more recent than I thought
And
it was, to be honest.
yeah, and this is something. It's a game that's always been in my backlog since I had heard of it. It always
Same.
seemed, it had always seemed super interesting. Like the basically the best way I can describe what this game is like is that it's basically if Chrono Trigger met Final Fantasy X, where you get the combat from Chrono Trigger along with a very similar story setup to what Final Fantasy X had on offer, except instead of a beach, you're on a mountain for the entire game. But essentially, setting up the story, um, you're basically playing as this mercenary who's set off to kill, who's been tasked to go kill Setsuna, who's basically like this human sacrifice to like keep the monsters away. It's basically this ongoing tradition in the world for whatever reason.
Oh, it really is Final
Um,
Fantasy X.
yeah, yeah, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And but like there was one, and there was also one part where Setsuna's talking and she's like, "Oh, well, I have to go on this pilgrimage," and then that's when it clicked in my brain. The word pilgrimage. I'm like, "Oh, this is just we're just doing Final Fantasy X right now."
Yeah.
There's one dude straight up that you get later. He's just Orin, but he's wearing green instead of red.
Boo.
Like it is kind of boo, but like the similarities are just it's very apparent even as someone who didn't play a lot of Final Fantasy X. But no, I'm really enjoying this game. I've been playing through it. So I got through about like 8 hours of the game, but that's because I've been going through it on my live stream. I've been streaming my first playthrough of it
Oh yeah.
just cuz
Yeah.
I want to try and get back into streaming and this seemed like a good way to start.
Mhm.
And but I guarantee if I hadn't been streaming and I'd just been playing this game on my own time, I certainly would have finished it by now.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm like I looked up on how long to beat games like 20 hours long. I've put in
Oh,
about
cool.
8.
It's not
So,
super obnoxious
it's
in length then.
yeah, it's not like a super big time commitment either.
Never trust how long to beat, dude. Be a speedrunner, dude. That's what I do. Start skipping text. That's what I do. Just to spite how long to beat, I'll be like, 25 hours. You say I can make this 23. We'll just skip the next 5 conversations. We'll be
People
fine.
think Xenoblade 1 is a 60-hour game.
Fucking nerds, bro. That game's 18 hours if you try hard enough, guys. Like, come on.
16 if you ate your Wheaties.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you gotta get those quads built for Button Valley, dude. That's what you gotta do. You gotta do some fucking squats beforehand, dude. Get that training done.
Uh,
Um, but no, it's interesting. Sorry, Cal. We just
Nah,
completely
you're
overtook the
good.
conversation. But
um, I think I basically said my whole piece on this game. This game isn't like super difficult as an RPG either. It's very beginner friendly. I think
hmm,
like I think the hardest part would be getting adjusted to the ATB combat system, which is for those who don't know, it's like this really old system that Square Enix came up with in the 90s. They used it for a shitload of their Final Fantasies and they tricked us into thinking it was good.
how
I
dare
am not a
you?
fan of it.
The dogs hate it. Dogs
The-
hate it. It's
or the dogs
confirmed.
hate me and they're coming to get me.
yeah, we're a very pro ACB household here.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
But no, I think like no, I basically said my whole piece on it. It's a very super cozy game to play too. Like between the atmosphere of the world, just you're being on the
Mhm.
snowy mountain for seemingly the whole thing, and coupled that with the soundtrack, which is all piano music. Holy shit,
Mm.
dude! It just hits. Everything about it just hits.
Oh yeah.
Soundtrack is so good in this game. I've actually fallen asleep to it.
That's
So
the second game that we've had fucking sleeping issues here but this week in the podcast.
I don't
okay,
think
but this
Kyle
one was
fell asleep
this
to it
one was
while he was
deliberate.
playing it.
Yeah,
I used the
imagine.
soundtrack when I was trying to fall asleep.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
This game
It's
also
pretty
does
cool.
something really weird. I've never seen any other RPG let you do this, but you can change the names of your skills from the defaults. I don't know why that's a feature, but I think it's just really neat.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I wish more things did that. I would love to name, Firaga like, I don't know, fire, big fire, or just something
Big
silly like
fire.
that.
Dude, the amount of times where it's like, yeah, and so many in JRPGs where they got fucking like,
Let me just change this to something pronounceable real quick.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd
dude,
probably do
like
it more for Persona,
Yeah.
where it's
Persona. It's
like,
so annoying when you're trying to like, okay, which one's the big one? Because it's like you've got a small one, then you've got the medium one, then you've got the big one, then you've got the group small one, the group medium, the group big one,
you
and I'm
see,
like,
I think, I think I could still remember Persona's elemental
yeah, I
nonsense,
probably could, but I'd
but
much
it's
rather
all the
just go
support things that I didn't use that I wouldn't
small
be able
fui
to tell
fui,
you
big
what
fui
does.
fui,
God, the
Yeah,
support
five.
skills in Persona never stuck with me, dude.
yeah.
I remember some of their names, cannot remember what they do.
Hunger's a pain in
Oh.
the arse. Thanks, Akuma, a boss fight. Piece of shit. Is
Uh,
what that was.
gross.
Fuck Royal.
Ugh. But no,
Garbage.
Setsuna, it's a really good game. I'm a big fan of the whole cast. I think that they all like bounce off of each other very well. They all have a really good dynamic. Setsuna especially, like I really like how her character is being presented, and I think the game does a good job of like showing how she's handling the weight of this journey that she's on.
Yeah, that's like the two things I know about this game are that it's an RPG and that it's depressing. So it immediately
Yeah.
went on my radar. I was like, I'm gonna play you one day.
Oh, dude, hop on. Like I said, this was a game that I had on my list for you. So,
Yeah, yeah,
You two little
yeah, like I
twins over
said, it's
here,
always been on
twinning.
my backlog too. I think
mhm.
one of the yeah, but it's just it missed it throughout the because if it came out in 2016, I didn't have a job, and then 2017 happened, and I had other games to buy.
Yeah.
You know, I always think it kind of sucks where it's like, you know, obviously we live in a bubble, especially like doing this podcast and stuff like that, where we're buying new games constantly all the time, right? If we were normal a lot of the times, we could have let some of these games slip into when they're either one cheaper or in these subscription services or whatever, so we could pick stuff up a lot of the time. But it's
Mhm.
like, man, it like back when I was like in college or whatever, something like because Game Pass was like maybe just trickling starting in like when I was in college or whatever. But it's like if Game Pass or PS Extra or something like that was around back when I was in college, dude, I wouldn't have had to pay for video games because there's so much good shit on there that I would just be
Oh
able to
yeah.
waste my
Yeah,
time
yeah, it's
with,
like
you
when I
know?
first
Like,
got my PlayStation, it was like I would at least turn on every PS Plus game.
oh yeah, back in like
And
the
now I have the
PS4 era,
benefit
yeah.
of now even if it doesn't even look like something I'd really vibe with that much, I'd be like, I'm gonna give you a chance because it's all I got.
Oh,
And now
100%.
I've got the benefit of income, so
Like
Yeah.
if you're in high school or something and it's like, you know, you can somehow convince your parents to pay like I still think $80 or whatever is a fucking rip off or whatever the shit it is now. But like, you know, convince your parents, not your money, to spend $80 for a year and you just have this whole catalog of games. Be fucking golden, dude. Like
Oh yeah, you'd be set.
gone are the
yeah.
days where you used to just have games for birthday and Christmas or whatever and that's it. Like choose your six wisely. It's like, yeah, you can get some good stuff. Um I think that's what I noticed is a lot of the time I look at these subscription services and I'm just Hunter, I'm sure you're the same way where you just look you played it, didn't want to play it anyway, played it. Oh, I've
Yeah, a lot
finally
of the
been waiting
time.
for that one.
Or
Mhm.
Like there'll be the one
yeah.
Yahtzee moment where you're like, oh, finally.
Yeah, like last year for me, I think that was Inscription. Or
Or it's like for me, it's like 13 Sentinels and it's still on that. Yeah, but I'll play it when I get to it. You know, it's like, oh yeah.
yeah, or yeah, or a lot of the time even like with the PSN sales or whatever, I'll like look at it and all of the ones that are mildly enticing I've already bought.
Yeah.
Dude, it's got that's what's depressing, and it's like when you know you have a problem. Is when I remember I used to check every PlayStation sale and be like, "Oh, this finally's gone sale." Like, just adding, you know, that backlog of games that you've wanted to play or whatever. And now I just look through PlayStation Store sales, and it's like, you've
Purchased
played it,
in
already
library,
bought it for full
available.
price like a
In
stupid
library.
fucker. Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and it's
Um,
like, oh,
See,
but no.
thankfully, It's nice that they have a wish list now, so I can just kind of bookmark the things I'm interested in, and
It
it'll
always makes
tell
me
me.
laugh though, because I always forget, and then it's like, oh, I've got that one physically. Oh, I got that one. Oh,
Yeah,
it
that's
turns
something
out
I
the new
had to.
Tales of the Borderlands was complete ass, so I don't ever have to go and play that. That's
Yeah, that's
good.
something I
Thank
had
you.
to remember to do. Is because I think I have the first River City Girls game on that wish list for a long time, and then I got the disc, and I was like, okay. And then like a month after I beat the game, it was telling me that it was on sale. I'm like, oh right,
I just did that
I need
because
to get rid of that.
I bought LA Noire physically because I want to
Oh
play
yeah.
LA Noire eventually, and it's been on my wish list, my digital wish list forever. But Rockstar never puts that on sale for a decent price. It's still always like $25 whenever it's on sale. I'm like, this game came out in like
The
2000 and
game
what,
came out in
12? Like,
2002. Yeah, it's like 2012. What's their problem?
like, what's your
Where are they
problem? I know
playing
you
at?
remastered it, but you remastered it in like 2018. What the fuck is this? Like, put it on sale. Like, so I just bought it physically for like $20. I'm like, fuck it,
Yeah.
I'll just do that.
It's weird that they've got the wish list functionality now, but you can't like gift people things.
It's only a matter of time, you assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I've been saying that for like 3 years at least.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe.
Probably longer. The PS4 didn't let you do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the PS3 let you do that?
No.
No.
It's Steam lets you
Gifting's
do
not
it.
a thing that
Steam's a
things
thing.
other than Steam let you do.
Yeah.
The Wii Shop channel let you do that?
When it comes to stuff
Mm,
like that, rule of thumb usually goes Microsoft will probably do it first, then Sony, then Nintendo will have done it 20 years ago, and then we'll reintroduce it 36 years later. You know, like, oh, good job, guys.
And all the Nintendo fans will pop off for it.
Oh my fucking god! It's Mario
See, the
Kart.
reason they could do it with the
It's
Wii Shop
fucking
channel is
Mario
because they
Kart
were
again.
only because everyone already had the 2 digital Wii games that we're getting.
Dude, that's crazy. Anyway, let's wrap it
But
up.
no, this whole like this PS Plus game exchange was a ton of fun. I I really like this idea.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll give it another year just so that the catalogue's refreshed and there might be
I mean,
some more
I
stuff
don't
to.
expect that I'm going to be keeping the extra tier for.
Well, too bad. We're gonna force him next year, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna force him next
You
year.
will for the podcast.
Uh,
Hey, remember, Hunter? It's an investment.
well,
Well, what
yeah.
we'll do is we'll do it normally. You can pick our games, and then you have to buy the games that we give you, and then there we go.
I mean,
Shouldn't say
we'll
that.
figure it out, I guess.
Hunter with his
I'm,
fucking
I,
magic wallet. Yeah, don't despise. Yeah,
it,
don't mock Hunter. Hunter.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think that after the price increase that they pulled
That's
last
true.
year,
It's
they're
probably like worth
liable
like
to pull again. I'm probably going to not do
it's
it.
worth $20 million
I think after
now.
that price increase, I set my subscription to go back to the typical one, like stage 1.
Stage one, uh, back down the chart. God, yeah, dude, it's such a fucking rip off. Like I say, it is a rip off.
It is.
Get it bought for you so you feel less guilty. That's what I'd say. Well, hey, um, mine expires in October. It's like the worst fucking point.
I don't remember when mine expires anymore. I think it's just random point in the year.
Mine's like mid or late. It's whenever PS Now died because I was just stacking up on it before it died so that I got extra years for cheap. So it was like I think it's late October 2024. Mine expires now, so it's like that
Oh.
sucks because that means I'd have to wait 3 weeks for Black Friday to get it if I wanted to wait for that fucking sale. And usually October, November time is usually when multiplayer games release, isn't it? So it's like if the multiplayer game that my friends wanted to play or whatever happens, I'm like, well, I guess I'll fucking die.
Yeah.
At the bullet. Anyway, that's it. We're back. Let's wrap it up. Links are on screen right now. You can go and follow us on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with what we did on the podcast. Cal, I finally did update your little thing so it has your right Twitter handle because it hasn't had it. It's been wrong for a while now. And I said to Hunter before the show started, I never noticed, and I don't know why you never mentioned it, but there you go, it's fixed.
I think I did my rebranding after you had already set those videos to upload.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
So
So
I
now
kind
the
of
first half will
I
have the
kind of
old one, and
forgot.
then the second half will have the new one. So we're all
Oh,
good.
that's hilarious.
That's great. To be honest, I forgot we were doing a podcast. I started eating Mike and Ike's because I fucking forgot we were on the podcast. To be honest, if you're wondering why Ethan, you don't usually eat candy or whatever on the podcast. Yeah, that's because I forgot I was on the podcast. Okay, we're warming back up. Next week we're going to be talking about, as I said, let me get the list back up again. Prince of Persia. We're going to be talking about Another Code Recollection, and we're going to be talking about Under Night in Birth Metropolitan Police Department 3, whatever the fuck that game was called.
Nailed it.
Got it. So we're going to be talking about Under Night Rebirth Sistine Chapel. That's what it wasn't. Metropolitan
That's
Police
right.
Department.
Rebirth Sistine Chapel.
Sistine Chapel. God. Embarrassing. We're going to be talking about all those next week, and then obviously join us in 2 weeks for the start of a JRPG February, I guess, with Persona 3 Reload finally arriving.
You calling it that makes me want to make one of the episodes in between Persona and Final Fantasy, some other random JRPG.
No, too
Hell
bad.
yeah.
Even though it wouldn't be logistically possible.
No, not really. But unless, I don't know, why you gotta find another 100 hours. You're already gonna need 200 hours in February.
That's what I'm saying.
Not gonna happen. But yeah, we got a busy couple of weeks planned out. We got some fun stuff, obviously, leading up to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at the end of February as well. So there'll be plenty of stuff to come out. But yeah, I'll leave it there for today. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. Finally back to being live-ish. We'll be kind of back on track. But yeah, we'll see you then. But until next time, have an awesome week. Yeah, see you then. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.